Hello, everyone in Zoom. Welcome to my private Zoom room, and welcome to everyone on Facebook. Welcome to High Speed Healing Wednesdays. I'm so excited to see you guys here. I've been waiting for today. I'm Debora Wayne. If you're new and you're just joining me for the first time, welcome. I see some new faces in Zoom, and if you're new on Facebook, I'm Debora Wayne, founder and CEO of the International Chronic Pain Institute. And welcome to the world of pain. No, welcome to the world of pain free in the fastest, easiest, safest way possible. That's what we offer here. And High Speed Healing Wednesdays is open to anyone who's interested in a new way of thinking, a new way of understanding how healing works. Everything is different in our world here. And I'm here to shake you up and wake you up to things that you probably never even realized were possible. So tonight, this morning, if you're in other places in the world, I'm going to be talking about the hidden reasons for weight that won't come off no matter what you try. Now, you're also welcome here if you've got the opposite going on. Perhaps you have weight that you can't put on no matter what you try. Maybe you've tried everything: dieting, yo-yo dieting, elimination dieting, special food plans, supplements, drugs, surgery even, and all kinds of other exercise, et cetera, but the weight just won't come off, or you can't get your body where you want it to be. Anybody relate to this? Give me some hands up, thumbs up, hearts. Give me some love if you can relate to this. It is a very, very common problem that comes into the high-speed healing world. And we hear about it every day. I get emails every day from people who are saying, I'm just miserable. I've spent my whole life trying to get my body to a place where I like it, love it, appreciate it, where I feel good in my body. And so I feel for you, and I'm going to tell you a little story that those of you that know me probably won't believe, but it is true. And then I'm going to talk in a deeper way about what the heck is going on. Even when you exercise your you-know-what off, you barely eat anything but broccoli and water, and you still can't lose weight. Or you are drinking milkshakes all day long, and you can't put on weight. Like, what's going on here? And there's a lot to it. So first, a story. Hey, first of all, I want to make sure everybody can hear me, right? Okay, good. Thank you, Kathy. Let's see. All right, so here's a story that those of you that know me may not believe, because it was a long, long time ago that before most of the people in today's world would have known me. I don't think there's anyone in this community that knew me when I was way back, like in elementary school or even junior high school, and when I was even younger than that. So ready for this? I mean, I'm not heavy now, okay? I'm not heavy. I maintain my weight very easily. I have for many years. I'm not underweight. I'm not overweight. I mean, I'm at a really always I can wear the same clothes I wore in high school. Well, yeah, in high school and in college. And it's not to say my weight won't fluctuate a little bit here and there, but it just doesn't go way up and way down, which is what it used to do. And here's the real kicker. When I was young, guess what my nickname was? I can hardly believe it. My nickname was Butterball. You heard that right, Butterball. Everybody thought it was so cute. Everybody but me. When I was little, I had rolls of fat, and they just thought it was so cute. And it was mortifying to me. And as I got older, my dad was always like looking at me, staring at me, watching what I ate, making comments about how much I ate, what I ate, when I ate too much, I ate too little, I ate this, I ate that. It's like all this focus was on food. And, at my grandmother's, like if I didn't eat, I got yelled at for that. I got, put down for that, criticized for that. If I ate too much, I got criticized for that. And I just always felt like I was under somebody's microscope. And I wanted more than anything. I remember, this is kind of like embarrassing to admit, but I remember in high school wishing I could just take a knife and cut my thighs in half. I would have done anything to change my body. I was obsessed with it. And to make matters worse, my girlfriends, my closest friends, I can't even believe this. They were all models for the department stores. They were so beautiful and in perfect bodies. They modeled clothing at department stores, and they were in magazines and on TV. And I was just like mortified. So people think I never struggled with this stuff. I've struggled with this stuff. And I can tell you today that all the things I tried, holy moly, I remember my father and I went on a grapefruit diet where all I ate for a week was a grapefruit. I remember liquid diets, and I remember, cottage cheese diets, and I just ridiculous things. I remember supplements and starving myself and just drinking weird canned chemical crap. I really tried everything. And then I got much more healthy and got into eating whole foods and tried all of that. And that did help some. And then when I became a professional, well, when I went to college, I majored in dance, in fine art. And well, I didn't do this in a healthy way, but because I was so physically active all the time, and there was partly not enough time to eat, and partly it was hard to eat because I had dance classes back to back, and you can't do those things on a full stomach. And so I think the combination of that, I started to lose weight. Now, I'm not recommending this, don't get me wrong, because I wasn't getting the nutrition I needed, and that eventually had consequences. But I started to finally lose weight, and I, and then I got obsessed with not eating. And I went the other extreme because I liked how it felt to not be heavy. And so then on the weekends, I would swing from not eating to eating the entire day. On my days off from dancing, I would just eat and eat and eat and eat. And that's how I got into binge eating. Then I would feel sick, and then I wanted to throw up, but I couldn't throw up. And I mean, my God, this is not living. This is not healthy. This was just yo, yo, yo. And it was really crazy and not good. And I ended up really having some terrible consequences as a result. Can anybody relate to any of this, or is it just me? It's, it's not something I talk about a lot, but well, I talk about parts of it a lot, but it was really, really emotionally painful is what I can tell you. And once I finally started working on myself in a different way, and I quit looking at my body, I literally threw away the scale. I quit focusing on food. Oh God, in college, I measured my food. I measured my food. I had a little book with calories and how many calories and how long it takes to burn those calories. I was obsessed with this stuff. And so, but I'm here today to tell you, if you've ever struggled with any of this, first of all, you're not alone. The world is obsessed with this. Second of all, the way you're going about it, if you're going about it the way I did, you're looking in the wrong direction. And it doesn't work. And that's why for those of you who have lost weight, perhaps rapidly, but you can't keep it off, or you've tried everything under the sun and you can't keep it off, and you feel terrible because you feel like there's something wrong with you, like what's wrong with you? Why are you different? I get it, but it's not you. It's you, but you're not looking in the right place. Bev is saying, I relate to under eating when I was young and then thin. And then midlife weight came on, and I've lost and gained back more several times. Yeah, that's pretty common as well. So once I started, after I, had been working on myself for quite a while, and went back to school and got degrees in psychology, hypnotherapy, chemical dependency counseling. I started working with young people and women and groups, and I knew about all the energy healing, but I was kind of keeping it under the radar. And then I became a yoga teacher, and then a Reiki master, and then all these things started, finally, the puzzle started getting put together. And here's what I found. Number one, and you've heard me, those of you who know me and have been in my programs or are in my world, you know me, you've heard me say this before. One of the major keys to healing and to all pain, symptoms, patterns, problems, way beyond weight, it could be in any area of your life, but anything that's painful for you, and it could be in your weight, it could be in your body, it could be a health issue, but it also could be like money, relationships, job, anything. The number one thing that is most likely going on that's hidden from your view and will never show up on any kind of test. Anyone want to take a guess? It's emotions. Emotions are a force as real as electricity. And emotions are energy. Everything is energy. Your body's made of energy. And it's energetic information. It's not just energy like lights, but it's vibrational information. And your body, if you could see it, it's not this solid object. If you could look at it under a high-powered piece of equipment, you would see your body is vibrating and it is blinking, basically. And it's completely extended way beyond your skin into a field. Your body is a field, and it's unique to you, and it merges with other fields that are similar to yours, and we're all interconnected through one gigantic field as well. And this field is communicating with your body, and your thoughts and your emotions are dialoguing back and forth to the field, and then the field to your body. And so your thoughts and your emotions, they create what are known as frequencies. Frequencies, another word, is basically vibration. And there are different vibrational wavelengths, patterns, okay? And the more you think certain thoughts and feel certain feelings, they will create a pattern, and if you keep repeating those, they create an imprint in your field. And if they are certain emotions like fear or anger or shame or guilt or sadness or grief, what most people call negative emotions. I don't feel any emotions are negative, but they're the ones usually people don't want to have. They don't want to feel. Vulnerable, out of control, overwhelmed, frightened, hopeless, helpless, those kinds of feelings, right? That most people try to stop those feelings. They try to block those feelings. They try to numb them out, medicate them, deny them, suppress them, and repress them. Because who wants to walk around feeling vulnerable, ashamed, and out of control, right? Nobody. So people try to stop all this. Well, what happens is if you have those thoughts and feelings repeatedly, they make an imprint, vibrational imprint. Think of it like a note, music. They make a song in your field that's playing like in the background. And it's always there until you clear your field. And if you're not aware of your thought process and your emotions, you're contributing to the problem, but you don't even know it. It's unconscious. And the thing about weight is that it's not about the weight. It's about the underlying pain and emotions from life, from relationships, from people, places, and things where you feel it's out of your control, or where you feel they're doing something to you and you have no power. And so you don't know how to process, you don't know how to release the emotional pain, and you don't know how to change the thought process. So you go round and around and around in a loop that you're stuck in, like a revolving door that you're stuck in and you never get out because you don't know how to change your thoughts. You don't know how to release or rewire your thoughts, and you don't know how to release the emotional pain. And we live in a world where emotions aren't highly welcomed. It's very rare that people say, tell me how you feel. Come on, tell me how you feel. Get it out. Typically we hear, oh, unprofessional, don't bring that here, or don't be a downer, or don't be negative, right? Don't be negative, or you're stuck in your story. See, we aren't given free permission to feel. And there are very few safe spaces to feel with somebody there to witness you unconditionally, who will love you and not give you advice and try to change how you feel, or tell you you shouldn't feel that way, or that you're wrong, or get over it. I love that. People used to tell me, well, just get over it. If I could have gotten over it, I would have. And so would you. You are trying by thinking and feeling over and over in a pattern, you're actually attempting in the best way you know how to control the situation that you don't like, the symptoms you don't like, but it's an ineffective way of doing it. By thinking harder or more often about a problem or a pain that you have, you will not get any control. You will not solve it that way, but that's what most people do. We live in a thinking world. We're having feelings that we don't like. So we go in our head and then we start thinking harder and more frequently about the problem that we can't solve. And we actually make it guaranteed to stay stuck, because thinking more often and thinking harder at the level of the problem keeps the problem in place and feeds energy into the very thing you're trying to get rid of. And that's like having a fire in a fireplace and you keep putting logs on the fire that you're trying to put out. Are you with me? Is anybody with me? Give me some chat here, please. Anybody? Okay, we got one yes. What about the rest of you? All right, some thumbs up are coming in. Okay, now I feel better. Now, I know this is fantastic. Okay, thank you, Valerie. So I know this is a new way of looking at it. See, that's the problem, is most people look at weight as immediately they judge themselves or they judge their body, and they start Googling how to lose weight. And what do they find? A new diet, the foods that help you lose weight or burn calories, or how much exercise and what type of exercise, or how to fast. Okay, right, more judgment, Bev, yep, more judgment. And then you turn on the TV and what do you see? You see infomercials for all this crap to buy that could be harmful to you, pills and things that could be harmful, starvation diets, restriction. No one can live restricted for long. You will get so frustrated with that. If you haven't tried it, I'll tell you, you'll end up swinging from restricted over to binging or something much worse because you can't take it. We're not designed for deprivation. It just doesn't, you know, it psychologically, when you try to deprive yourself, it makes you want the thing more. You know, human nature is such where you push and there's a pushback. So if somebody says, oh, you can't have that, you can't do that, you're going to want it more than ever. And why do you think New Year's resolutions don't work? They work for a week. You see the gyms filled with people from January 1 through 7. And then where'd they all go? Because they meant well, but they're not, first of all, it's not necessarily the right solution. And I'm not against exercise. It's a big part of my life. But if you're just exercising compulsively like I used to do because you're afraid of gaining weight, you haven't addressed the real root. So what's the real root? So like I'm saying, I have worked with thousands of people now who were like severe binge eaters. You know, we're talking, 17 years of daily binge eating, people who have anorexia, that people who have not eaten in sometimes days and days, and their gut is just falling apart. They're emaciated. They have lost all nutrition. It's affecting their bones, their everything, their whole everything is just out of whack. The same with overeating. It can cause so many problems. I've worked with people who end up being diagnosed with diabetes and obesity and heart conditions, and all the pain that comes to the joints when you're really severely overweight and people can't exercise. Then it hinders even movement, and they can't enjoy life, and they can't do the things they want to do with people, and feel embarrassed, and all the emotional pain that comes with all of this. So this is not just some little, I want to lose 5 pounds I'm talking about. This is a conditioned way of living that starts to impact every area of your life. And most people start to pull away from life as well, and they start to hide out more because they're ashamed and they feel something's wrong with them, like they're defective in some way. And it can even lead to being suicidal, which is really, a sad place to be, but that's a fact. So what we have to do is we have to examine the emotional pain from life. And most people, myself included, I was not willing to do that. And probably wisely so, because early in my life, I didn't have the tools to deal with it. If I had just started unpacking all my emotional pain by myself at home in the living room, I probably would have felt suicidal, more so because I didn't have the skills to know what to do with all that. And I was too know-it-all or too prideful, really, to ask for help. So it took me a long time to ask for help. And I just kept trying to fake it till I make it, and it doesn't work. And so what I found in working with so many people, there's some common things. And again, I don't like to generalize, and I don't want to imply that you are this, but this is in general what I have found, all right, with lots and lots of people that have weight issues in particular. Generally speaking, there's been some kind of abuse. It could have been from early childhood. It could have been physical abuse, sexual abuse, violence of some kind, total neglect, like nobody was there for them. They were punished a lot or highly criticized, lots of judgment. And I find that a lot. In particular, I find sexual abuse with a lot of overweight, and more on the neglect and deprivation and punished and not given the love they needed on the underweight side, or very critical parenting. Perfectionism was expected, that type of thing on the underweight side. I've also find that it could be later in life where some kind of tragedy happened, or some kind of loss, or there was a series of losses, a series of stress. And it may not just be loss, but it could be I don't mean loss like I do mean, but not only do I mean like loss of a loved one, okay? But it could be loss of a dream, loss of a job, a relationship, um, moving to another country and didn't work out. It could be a loss of a physical body part. It could be a disease that didn't really go well, or a surgery that didn't go well. But some kind of loss, or a series of a period of time, 1 to 2 years or longer, where there was a ton of stress, and particularly loss and hurt and pain from it. And the person was trying to be strong, or didn't know how to release it, and used food to soothe themselves, and used food to deal with the emotions. Or on the other side, on the other extreme, and this is what I also find, is that it's often related to self-esteem, where the person doesn't have enough self-esteem and feel good about themselves. And so they are looking for a lot of approval externally. And if they don't get it, they walk around feeling ashamed and full of doubts and worries, and just they're not good enoughs. And again, the not good enoughs tend, and this is a generalization, all right, so it may not apply to you, but in general, they don't they didn't get the nurturing and the nourishing that they wanted, usually early in childhood, or and still probably aren't currently, because they learned that that was normal, and so they don't really get the nourishing. They didn't learn how to get it or ask for it, and so they don't get their needs met, and so they don't even nourish themselves with food, which is the one way most people nourish themselves. So they have issues with receiving, and they deprive themselves and punish themselves the way they were punished, or because they feel inadequate. And so they don't even give themselves the pleasure of food or the nourishment of food. They just stay in a deprived state. So it can be one extreme or the other. All right, this seems to be happening during COVID. I'm so glad you brought that up, Bev. So this is what I'm finding and why I wanted to talk about this today in particular. These issues, emotional issues, are coming up. They come up naturally, normally anyway from life, but they're exaggerated now more than ever because of COVID and quarantine, and people losing their jobs, people losing their spouse, lots of people going through emotional breakups with their relationships right now. I've had more calls from people telling me they're getting divorced. It's really anything that is unhealed is coming to the surface. So if you've been alone more often than you're used to, and you're having loss of a job, loss of money, loss of a dream, loss of friendships, loss of traveling, loss of going to your yoga class or your gym, loss. And you may not recognize these are losses. These are stressors that you may be feeling, but you're not even aware of the degree that you're feeling it. Plus, you're hearing it, seeing it, and feeling it in the collective. It's not just you, it's everybody. So if you're the least bit sensitive to other people, which I would bet everybody on this call is, then you're feeling for other people as well. You're probably hearing your family or friends talk about these things. I have an elderly mother who is in another state, and fortunately she has someone to help care for her, but she's been quarantined for months, can't even leave the apartment. She can't see her kids, can't see friends. I mean, this is very difficult for people who don't have the skills, and even for people with the skills. So I've got the skills and I'm not liking it, I'm not loving it. There are days where I've woken up in a real funk. And if you're not aware of what to do with your emotions, lots of people are in the kitchen, right? Downing that food to try to comfort themselves, and just being more sedentary. That's the big thing I've noticed. Sitting more, everything slows down in your system, but you may be eating like you normally eat. Has anybody noticed that? You're still eating like the normal portions and what you normally are used to eating, but your system has slowed down because you're not moving as much. So this has a real effect. And stress, here's another biggie. Stress had all these emotions, I should say stress in quotes, because stress is really our mental and emotional reaction to life. There's no such thing as stress. It's not like there's stress over there. Stress just happened to me. Stress doesn't just happen. It's our thinking, it's our mental and emotional reaction to life and to people in life, to all of our experiences. That's what either creates a stress response or not. And so if you're having a stress response because you're worried, anxious, angry, depressed, sad, frightened, all of those emotions I'm talking about, you're releasing chemicals to your nervous system, your immune system, and the organs in your body. Your energy will not flow the way it's supposed to when it's free. And then what happens is the emotions literally become toxic to you. And it slows things down or speeds you up. But there's a hormone called cortisol, which I'm sure you're all familiar with the term fight, flight, or freeze, that fight or flight syndrome. So cortisol is helping you when you feel anxious, afraid, scared, worried, all these emotions that are coming up for a lot of people. And when cortisol kicks in, it releases hormones that actually put weight on. Put weight on. And so it could be those of you saying that you're gaining weight during COVID. Um, again, it's all links back to the emotional response to life. And remember, your emotions are connected to the way you're thinking. So if you're not watching your thinking and you're not in charge of your thinking, and I'm not saying every single thought that you think is going to manifest as weight. It's the ones that we repeat and dwell on and think about and worry about and ruminate, because those thoughts they cause an emotional reaction, and your emotions and thoughts link up. So you're thinking, let's say you're thinking, oh my God, is this ever going to end? Like, when am I going to get out of here? I feel like a caged animal, for example. That's creating an emotional response. The emotions release the chemicals and affect your nervous system and your immune system. And then the emotions generate more thoughts. And there you go, round and round the revolving door. And science has measured people's thinking and found the average person thinks 60 to 90,000 thoughts a day. Holy moly. 60 to 90,000 thoughts a day. That's a lot of thinking. And if most of your thoughts are negative, not working for you, they're not elevating you to feel better, they're helping you feel worse, then you're in a pickle, no pun intended. So who is with me and what questions do you have? You can put them in the chat or in the Q&A section at the bottom of your Zoom. There's a bar that says Q&A. Please put your questions either place, type them in the chat, type them in the Q&A. I got a great question here I want to address that came in earlier today from Tiziana. She said, would you address the topic of stress related to being a super busy mom with unsupportive husband in relation to weight loss? Well, so I touched on all these points already that relate to your question. I'll elaborate a little further. So, the whole stress related being super mom is a 20th century and 21st century problem that we've had for a long time. It was definitely part of my syndrome. And this idea that women are supposed to do everything, be everything to everybody, always be giving, doing, that'll kill you faster than anything else. It definitely will cause pain and symptoms and has effects that are physical and most likely will be related to the way you eat, the way you digest food, the way you sleep, the way you feel all day long, your energy level. Living, trying to be, what did you call it, super mom? Yeah, a super busy mom. And, look, we all make choices. Obviously, you made the choice to have children, and they are a gift. And yet, what I've watched, most of the women that I work with who are super moms, they don't recognize sometimes that they're doing too much because they're trying to get their feel good from other people, which includes their kids. They're trying to be great moms because they want to be acknowledged. They want to be recognized. They want someone to say, good job. Hey, you're a fabulous mom. We love you. You're the best. And only you will know. I'm not saying you're doing this, but only you will know. You have to really ask yourself when you're trying to be super busy and super mom, what is your motivation for that? That's the key question. Why am I doing what I'm doing? Am I doing it because I love this and I want to do this? Or am I doing this because I'm trying to feel better about myself by doing things for other people and hoping they tell me that they like me, love me, think I'm great? See, that comes from our ego, and it will end up boomeranging in a negative way. And we also have to recognize that, especially with kids, it's not a service to our children or our spouse to do everything for people. I'll never forget a story someone told me years ago. They said, imagine you're a mom with a little child who's just learning to walk. And they're still crawling and they stand up. Well, let me back up. And so you're on one side of the room and your child's on the other side of the room and you're trying to help them learn to walk. So you say, come on, walk over to mommy. And they start crawling and they stand up, they take a step or two and they fall down. And so mommy runs across the room, picks up the child and carries them over to the other side of the room. If mommy did that, the child would never develop the strength to walk because mommy did it for them. And so that child never got the strength to build up the muscles to learn to walk. Learning anything requires falling down. And what I watch so many mothers doing, and fathers do it too, but mothers really do it, they don't let their children have responsibilities, boundaries. They don't let their kids make mistakes. They do everything for them so that they become helpless and weak. This weakens children, and it weakens your spouse as well. I had someone tell me just the other day, I'm so worried about my husband. He's never cooked a meal in all the years we've been married. And I'm thinking, really? So why not? A lot of men actually love to cook. They love to make their spouse happy. They love to do things for you, but we don't let them because we think we have to do everything. It's all on our shoulders. So I would really encourage you, especially if you have an unsupportive husband, to get very clear on what you need in order that your health doesn't suffer. Because if your health suffers, you won't be there for anybody. If you're not there for yourself, you aren't going to be there for your children that you love or your spouse. And you have to really get honest with yourself about what you need and learn to delegate, learn to delete what you don't need to really be doing. A lot of times, when I started taking an inventory of all the stuff I did, I discovered I had my nose in other people's business where I had no business being. Let them do it themselves. I did not need to do that for them. And so you have to really learn to sort these things out and not take on what is not yours to take. Obviously, with little children, there's more to do. So you look at where can you find help? You'd be surprised if you learn to ask for help, people love to help. There are a lot of people who love to help and have the bandwidth for it. But if you think you have to do everything yourself, see, that was always my problem. And it can really get in the way. And I had to learn to delegate and let go of things and stop putting myself in situations that were none of my business. Melissa is asking, what prompted my personal transformation? I'll tell you what prompted it. Extraordinary levels of pain. Physical pain, emotional pain, pain in my relationships, pain in my career, pain, and more pain, to the point where I woke up one day 35 years ago and I could not get off the floor. I was crying my eyes out. I couldn't get dressed. I couldn't go to work. I couldn't function one more day the way I was feeling because I was stuffing those emotions and I was trying to live based on a formula that I had been taught that would lead to happiness, and it wasn't working for me. I was miserable, and I wasn't addressing the real deep hidden reasons for my pain. I was just, running around trying to find what pill to take and drowning my misery in alcohol and pills and pot and Ben and Jerry's. And it went on for too many years. And finally, I broke, the dam broke. So I don't really want you to experience that. You don't need to. That's why I do what I do. It all led to my work. That's why I'm here today, because I years ago started resolving all of this. And along the way, I discovered I love to teach. I love to help people. I'm a natural counselor. I went back to school. I got degrees, et cetera, et cetera. And I discovered, wow, if I can help one person even prevent what I went through, then all of what I went through is not for, it serves a purpose. And that's what I've been doing for many, many years now. And early on in the journey, I discovered energy healing completely by surprise. And that's become the biggest gift that I really have to give. Because if you couple energy healing with your belief clearing and your emotional clearing, there's nowhere else to go to try to heal. The most rapid, fast, high-speed healing way to heal anything, there's only 3 places to go. You must go into the mental, the emotions, and learn how to release the damaging emotions and the damaging thoughts. And then I help people clear their energy field, which is the fastest thing to do of all, and the safest, easiest, most relaxing way to heal. And it's effortless. And when you do those 3 things, you really would have to fight me to not have some kind of healing take place, if not everything. The high-speed healing method it combines all of that. And that's what I do. That's what my programs are about. That's what my pain-free living program's about. And that's what I teach and talk about and work with people one-on-one or in groups and have been doing for many years. And I just keep getting that message out there because people don't realize it. Usually they end up here as their last step when this should be the first step. The high-speed healing should be the first step. It's the easiest, fastest way. For example, I've had people who were binge eating for 17 years. One woman that comes to mind. The very first session, done, never again. People with digestive issues and disorders that came as a result of binge eating and then dieting and binge eating and dieting, they've messed up their gut terribly. And IBS and all these other types of labels they've been given, gone, completely gone in a very short time. People who couldn't gain weight start to stabilize. People who know that they're emotionally eating or that have, are addicted to exercise, they stabilize. And I've had more people write to me. I was shocked when it first started happening. And then I started noticing more and more people were saying this. And I thought, wow, this is amazing. Now I understand why. In the beginning, I didn't. They write to me and they say, I lost weight without trying. And I didn't change a thing that I ate. Now, here's why. Because most of the reason, if not all of the reason, that you have either put on weight or can't put on weight is from what I said earlier. It's from emotions and your conditioning, your mental conditioning from childhood. You got programmed like a computer. And if you don't have the thoughts and the emotions released and changed, which is what high-speed healing will do for you, you're not living your true self, your true life. You're living a life someone turned you into. You learned how to be dysfunctional. You learned how to feel and think in a disturbed way. You weren't born with that. And so with high-speed healing and what I teach in my pain-free living program, that stuff comes off. And it's not yours anyway. Someone gave it to you. It's kind of like someone giving you clothing that you really don't like and it doesn't fit, but you wore it anyway. And finally you go, why am I wearing this? It's ugly, I don't like it, and it doesn't even fit. And you throw it out. That's what happens with high-speed healing. And so the only way to truly heal is to address those 3 areas. Elizabeth is saying, many of us gained quarantine weight from telecommuting remotely for hours at the computer and it's challenging to find time to exercise. And all your points are very true and important. Thank you. Well, yes and no. So I have been telecommuting only for 6 years now. I closed my office 6 years ago and went strictly online. And my goal this year was actually to do more live events. I picked the wrong year for that, right? Because I was getting somewhat weary of I didn't want to stop entirely, but I was getting strain from too much computing. But instead of that, what happened is I'm probably working online more than ever, more than ever. I haven't gained any weight, but what it will do is affect your energy. And you have to know what your body needs in order for it not to gain weight. You have to have a very intimate relationship with your own body and your mind and your emotions, because it's not just that you have a body, you have a mental, emotional, you have a mind, body, emotion, and energy field complex that all works together as one unified whole. So I'm really in touch with what I need. And I was very aware on the days that I needed more sleep, or the days that I needed more food, or the days that I needed less food or more exercise. Like my body will tell me what it needs, and so will yours. This is what I teach people, how to be more in touch with what your inner guidance system is telling you. And in fact, today in the high speed healing universe, I'm going to, I think today, if everybody agrees, I'm going to start teaching my own self-care routine and do a little mini series on that, because so many people are needing this. And I've been getting emails asking me, like, what is your self-care routine? And it's not that exactly what I do will be right for you, but I will be able to give you guidelines and then show you and teach you how to find your own answers. And so some of you in here today are also members of the High Speed Healing Universe. If you don't know what that is, I'm going to take a minute now and share that with you and invite you to stay around, because at 5 o'clock today, if you join in time, you can hop on the call. So Wednesdays at 5 is the brand new High Speed Healing Universe. And that's where I'm going to go deeper with people. It's a longer call, and I'm going to go deeper into these subjects and do little sprints and mini courses, and be able to spend more time with people one-on-one, answering questions, working with people live. I'm going to be doing once a month. It's a subscription, it's a membership program. And when you become a member, you join a month at a time. You can also join and become a 3-month member as well. And we reward you in different ways for that. But you can come and go as you like. You can stay as short or long as you like. It's just a month-to-month subscription or a 3-month membership. And once a month, I'm going to do a high-speed energy healing session. Now, I will share with you that there's no other way to do a high-speed session with me in this. This is the most affordable way, and the only way really, unless you go privately or into my pain-free living program. It's the only other way, and I just don't offer it in a way that's this affordable. I wanted to do something, especially now, that's super affordable for most people, and to be able to help more people during the times we're going through. So that's why I started the High Speed Healing Universe. So I'm going to be doing a mini series in there on my self-care. And I'm also going to be teaching pieces of the movement and the restorative healing yoga that I teach. And I used to teach regularly in person for many years, and I train yoga teachers in this particular method, which is all about restoring your energy and releasing emotional pain. And I layer it with the high speed healing. I mean, it is super, talk about addicting. It's super addicting in a good way. And so Elizabeth, you may really want to check this out, and everybody, please, I invite you all to just stay with me and go deeper. I'm going to put the link where you can sign up. Let's see, in the chat, it is oops, hang on, it's lowercase letters. I think you need lowercase. www.internationalcpi.com/HSHU. It stands for High Speed Healing Universe. So HSHU, International CPI, hope I spelled that right, .com/HSHU. If you want to join us today, go there now and register. And you'll then be invited into a different Zoom room with a password that you need to get in. And we meet at 5 o'clock. And it'll be probably a good hour and a half call. And you can read all about all the details, but it's going to be, well, it is already. And we've got great people in there. And think of it as a deeper extension of what we're doing here, because I have more time with you and you will get the high-speed healing. I'm also going to be taking people through a lot of different types of tools and techniques that I've learned over the years to help you with all these different issues. We will cover a wide range of topics that are causing people pain, everything from back pain, neck pain, hip pain, joint pain, digestive issues. We're going to cover things like insomnia, headaches, why you can't sleep, relationships. I'm going to teach effective communication skills. We're going to talk about money pain, jobs, career, intuition, how to access your inner guidance and find your own answers. We're going to talk about spirituality, energy healing. It's really, the topics that you guys are interested in that we're going to be going deeper with. So it's a universe that's created for you and is going to involve you in the process. We're going to co-create the topics. I'm also going to bring in different guests, and you will also be able to have discounts to my guest programs and their products. So there's a lot happening in there. So join me, everybody. I would love to have you 4 o'clock, 5 o'clock and beyond on Wednesdays. And I really, really want to know the topics and the questions that are on your mind. This is the only way I want to be of value to you. So I need to hear. All right, let's see. There's a few more questions. What about being skinny fat? Part of my body is way underweight and other parts are disproportionately fat. Interesting. Love that question. So what you're describing is that there's an imbalance. And I would need to talk with you further and ask you more questions. See, this would be great on the High Speed Healing Wednesdays, where I would have a chance to explore this with you deeply. But okay, so I'll just give you some thoughts, take what fits and leave the rest. But when there's an imbalance, it depends on the different sides of the body. So I'd be curious, is it a left side, right side issue? It's always an energy issue because, for example, the left side of the body is the feminine energy. And if your feminine energy, which are issues about like your feeling nature, your creativity, your ability to receive, if you have trouble with that, you'll typically manifest stuff on the left side of the body. But the right side of the body, or it could indicate that your female is not being nourished and nurtured and is upset. It can be a mixture of things. The right side is the masculine energy side, and it often depicts that you're either having issues with men in your life or your own masculine energy, which is related to work, money, linear thinking, logical, practical, bringing home the bacon, getting it all done, being that super mom, being the man in your life. So you have to look at those kinds of things. You also have to look at the upper and the lower. And the upper body is the part of you that you present to the world. And the lower body is what's hidden from other people. So your nature may be one way to the public and very different underground. You can look at it that way as well. I could go on, I could probably do a whole call just on this type of thing. It's a really great question and it deserves deeper exploration. So either jump on a one-on-one discovery call with me. You can find that at the website as well, internationalcpi.com/discovery. That's how you guys can also do a one-on-one with me. That's a deep dive. It's an hour and a half. We go deep into whatever questions and issues. I help you put the puzzle together, and then you can tack on a high-speed energy healing to that session, and we spend a good chunk of time together where we go very, very deep. So you may want to look into that or come into the membership too. There's another great question in here, and then we've got to go. I've got to go. Let's see. How about not being nurtured as a child? Yes, Jenny. See, this is usually very, very related to weight issues and feeling nourished, or like in my case, we got rewarded for being good by eating, by being fed treats. And if you were bad, you were punished with food. If you were good, you were rewarded with food. So it's very common in our society to see that. You know, do your homework and you can have the ice cream, that kind of thing. And if you're not nurtured and you don't feel nurtured, you will probably not, maybe didn't learn to nurture yourself. And then you try to nurture yourself in the ways that give immediate gratification, which sometimes are harmful, like overeating or eating bad foods that, you know, cause problems. So again, this is another deep question. I'll do another call on weight and we can go deeper into this. It's a great question and it deserves a deeper exploration. So anyway, everybody, wow, thank you all so much for being here today. What a great group of people I see on my list here, and awesome questions. I'd love to have every one of you stay with me in the high speed healing universe and become a member and join me for deeper dive and more healing results. So please check out the link. You're so welcome. Thank you for being here. Thank you everybody on Facebook. Please share, if you're on Facebook, please share this video with people who are suffering. People die every day from disordered eating. People die from this. And it's so sad, and it doesn't need to happen. So thank you all for showing up and being willing to have a tough conversation about things that are uncomfortable, because that's what it takes. We need to be open. No shame allowed about this. We need to be open, bring this stuff out, find the solutions, and move forward. And so I want to leave with one final thought for all of you. Two thoughts. I can't just have one. First, do something today that makes you feel good, that you know gives you pleasure, that is not food related. And two, before you eat, stop and ask yourself, how am I feeling? Am I really hungry, or am I feeling some other feeling? And listen to your feelings, because in order to heal, we must learn to feel. If you'd like my help with that, reach out, because I am here for you. All right, I love you, everybody. Thank you so much. See you soon. Join me in the universe. Bye.